Welcome to the MGS podcast, your one-stop shop for movies, games, and sports. My name is Jake. Next to me is my best friend, Paul Kewen. How you doing, Paul?
I'm doing pretty good, man. Pretty excited to get this thing rolling. We've been talking about this for a while now. I think it's been like 6 days. And we've come a long way, man.
We've put a lot of thought into this. We went on to Amazon right away, started shopping for some cheap stuff that we could buy. And then, we're hoping that someday we can get to the point where we're giving medical advice to NFL quarterbacks like Joe Rogan.
Yeah, that would be fantastic. Even just to get a following like Joe Rogan would be pretty cool. So
yeah, and just to give people an idea of what the podcast is about, if the title doesn't do it for you, but Paul and I we're closet nerds. I mean, he's more closeted than I am. I mean, you can just even see behind us. I mean, there's a lightsaber right behind our head, but. No, we love movies, we love video games, we love sports.
All of it together in one.
Yeah, so, our idea was to create a podcast where we can kind of talk about the biggest news in all three of those categories, in one spot. So, ideally, if people want to know what's going on in the world of movies, games, and sports.
This is your one-stop shop right here.
This is it. But, before we get started, we did feel obligated to kind of say a little bit about the situation in Ukraine. We don't want to get political on this podcast. That is not a goal of ours. But we feel obligated to at least say that our thoughts and prayers are with the people of Ukraine. And, hopefully
100%.
Hopefully they can come to a quick resolution. And, the other point I did want to pick out is that Volodymyr Zelensky is gorgeous.
He's the man, bro. This guy has got some set on him.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a real leader right there. This guy literally said, "I don't need a ride. I need ammunition."
Yeah.
That's pretty cool, man. It's good in my book, and like you said, our prayers and thoughts go out to all those people over there and their families, and we can just hope for the best.
Yep. Now, to kind of kick things off, going in order of MGS, we're going to talk a little bit about movies. Biggest movie in, my opinion, I don't know how you feel, that's coming out, which actually comes out tomorrow, is the new Batman movie.
All right.
Yeah. For those of you who don't know, Batman is now Robert Pattinson, Mr. Twilight.
Real quick before we get into that, what was your thoughts when you heard that he was going to be star casted as the new Batman?
Okay, so when I first heard about it, really the only thing that I had seen with him in it was, Twilight.
Yeah.
And I was actually a little bit upset because I thought that Ben Affleck was a phenomenal Bruce Wayne. Maybe not the best Batman, but a phenomenal Bruce Wayne.
Okay.
And given that they were working on that movie with him for a while before it got shut down due to, creative differences, I was a little disappointed, and all I could picture Robert Pattinson in was Twilight, so I was a little freaked out. But then I had seen a few other movies with Robert Pattinson in it. I can't think of the name. The one where they kind of split time. Oh my lord, I can't think of it. But anyway, seeing him in some more serious roles, I was like, okay, this dude is actually a pretty phenomenal actor.
Yeah, he's actually really good. There's a couple different movies he did. He had that one movie in Harry Potter where he was in that as well. Do you remember that?
Yeah, wasn't he like one of the Quidditch players?
Yeah.
Is that what it's called, Quidditch?
He was in the tournament. There, actually, it was funny because in December I went through a whole Harry Potter scheme and watched all those movies and really nerded out in that. So
I don't even think I've seen all the Harry Potter movies, but I do know that Robert Pattinson, he dies in that movie.
He does.
Right?
Yeah.
Spoiler alert. I should have said that beforehand. But if you haven't seen it yet, you're like
10 years
too late. So, but yeah, I mean, when I saw the trailer and actually seeing him in the costume and the jawline, because I feel like one really important thing for Batman is the jawline.
Sure.
And I feel like his jawline is perfect. In the costume, he looks amazing. The one issue that I have, forgive me, Robert Pattinson, if you ever see this when we're famous, but so there's a scene where he punches the glass in the interrogation room. He's like, "Tell me what you know," and he's got round teeth. Have you ever noticed that?
No, I haven't. But now I'm probably not gonna ever look at him the same.
That scene, I know in the theater, I'm legitimately gonna laugh, but Yeah, that movie is going to be pretty long too. It's going to be, I think, over 3 hours is the runtime on it. So
that'd be pretty neat. And I mean, my biggest thing with when I heard that Batman was coming out, obviously with another movie, was like, I hope it's different.
yeah,
You know, like I hope it's not the same thing that we see all the time. These reboots and, you know, like, all right, we're just throwing another Batman in there in the mix and he'll be in the next DC movie or something. You know, like, I wanted to see something different, and I think that's the direction they're going.
Yeah.
And I think that makes it exciting because I don't think we've seen this before.
No,
like, if we look back in all the movies, this is more comic book driven.
It is, and a lot of people who, you know, their knowledge of, you know, whether it's the DC universe or the Marvel universe, their knowledge is from movies.
Right.
A lot of people don't read the comic books. Let me rephrase it. A lot of people who watch the mainstream stuff don't read the comic books. But what people don't realize is in the comic books, you know, Batman is the world's greatest detective. That's his thing. Like, yeah, he's an amazing martial artist and he's rich and has these gadgets and cool vehicles. But, you know, at
Rich
the end
is
of the
an
day,
understatement, by the way.
yeah. Tony Stark is richer. Black Panther's richer. But in terms of Batman, you know, he's a detective. And, you know, you look back at even the OG Batman films, there's no detective work in there. I mean,
Right,
if there
not
is,
at all.
it's minimal. And, you know, sitting here thinking about Christian Bale's Batman, I mean, I loved him, don't get me wrong. Nothing against Christian Bale's Batman, but there was no detective work. Same with, you know, Ben Affleck, other than, you know, him trying to figure out if Clark Kent was Superman. But that was pretty much it.
So obvious.
Yeah, it's you saw that thing with the what's his name again? Will Arnett?
Yeah.
I'm Batman.
Have you ever seen those the cafe
Yeah.
ones where it's like the animated series, like, I'm Batman, I'm Batman. Those are always fantastic.
Yeah.
A bunch of those superhero ones they're a great watch.
Yeah, there. You know, while we're on the topic of Batman, if nobody has ever seen the YouTube series, I believe it's called Batman. It's like a parody of Batman, but it's just ridiculous Batman. Where, like, you know, there's this one where he kills somebody in front of the Penguin, and, you know, Detective Gordon or Commissioner Gordon is like, oh my God, you just killed that man. No, he's just sleeping. He was so tired.
Oh,
And
that's
meanwhile, he's
fantastic.
got like a batarang through his forehead, and dude is literally bleeding out. He's like, oh, he looks so tired. My Batman voice sucks. Like, I start like this, but then I go to the real one.
We'll make sure to post that link in the notes down on the bottom of the page. So.
But, you know, back on topic here. You know, the great thing about podcasts is the idea is we're not news broadcasters. You know, we're gonna bring up random stuff during these discussions. But, you know, back on the actual topic of Batman with this movie, you know, just based off the trailers and early reviews, I mean, it looks super dark.
It does.
And you know, at one point he attacks a group of what look like young adults in a subway car, and he like grabs one of their tasers and shoves it into their throat and stuff. And
at that point I knew, I was like, all right, we're dealing with something different here.
Yeah.
This looks pretty cool. And it's the trailer, when I saw it, you know, when you see Batman walking out of the flames, that just blew up that car on the bridge, you're like, man, this looks sweet. This looks like this was done really well.
oh yeah, and speaking of the car on the bridge, I don't know if you knew. I know a lot of people don't know, but that's Colin Farrell is Penguin.
You know, the first time I watched the first teaser trailer, I couldn't believe it. I looked at him. I kept looking. I'm like, there's no way.
Yeah.
There's no way. And I mean, that's another one that, you know, like, he's a roller coaster of a character in all his movies. You know, like, some good, some really bad. So I'm excited to see how he does in this role, because from what we've seen in the trailers, he looks like he portrays an awesome Penguin, and it looks like it was done up really well. So.
Yeah, the prosthetics today, and I mean, just the technology we have with these movies it's unreal. I mean, I would have never known that was Colin Farrell based off of how well the prosthetics were done. Yeah, it just makes me think of, you know, kind of off topic here, but, you know, Star Wars bringing back Luke Skywalker, and like the de-aging of Mark Hamill and how amazing that looks, especially in the Book of Boba Fett. They de-aged him again.
I thought it was a real person.
Yeah.
I was like, how do they have him so much screen time and making him look so good? Like, holy cow.
Well, they hired the guy. There was a guy on YouTube when they did the video from The Mandalorian when Luke first appeared. This guy, he didn't like their de-aging that they used, so he actually used deep fakes, which all men here know what deep fakes is, right? But he used deep fakes to actually kind of change how he looked, and his work on that was better than Disney's. And this is just a guy on YouTube, so Disney hired him.
No shit.
Yeah, so he's the actual one who did it for the Book of Boba Fett, which is amazing. I don't know what that has to do with, Batman. That's my bad for...
So you can tell who the super nerd is here in this room right now. I mean, this guy's pulling stuff out of here now. I'm like, man, I don't think anybody knew that coming onto this podcast right now. So,
but back on the topic of the movie being dark, it makes me wonder if Batman is going to break his number one rule of killing people. Batman is not allowed to kill people.
Murder somebody.
There were a lot of people that... he's going to. There's a lot of people that had issues with Ben Affleck's Batman, because you'll see, like, in I think his Batman vs. Superman, he's driving the Batmobile. He's running through cars. The cars are exploding. There's people in those cars. Obviously, they're dead.
No way they survived.
Yeah, so a lot of people weren't a fan of that version of Batman because he
they put at the end that there was no children or puppies killed in this film. So
there were no actual bats injured during the filming of this movie. But on that topic though, talking about Ben Affleck's Batman, Christian Bale's Batman. George Clooney, I hate to even say that he was an actual Batman. Val Kilmer.
Val.
Yeah, who was the last one? Oh, my Lord, I'm having a brain fart. He plays in the Spider-Man movies as well. Hold on, don't look at they're not going to quick see me Googling, okay? Keep talking. Keep them distracted so they don't see me.
Yeah, sorry.
Michael Keaton. Yeah, I knew that.
He's not on his phone. Oh, yeah.
It's Michael Keaton. I can't believe I forgot about that. Oh, my God. We're talking about how big of a nerd I am, and I couldn't even think of Michael Keaton.
I don't know why I forgot he was in Homecoming.
Yeah.
As the dad, yeah.
But, who was your favorite Batman? Whether if it's because, just reminiscing on childhood, remembering a specific Batman, or being an adult and being able to connect with one.
Reminiscing on a childhood, you got to go back to
George Clooney's nipples, because he had that amazing nipple Batman suit.
That was the one with
it had Arnold,
the Riddler.
Jim Carrey is the Riddler. Yeah,
I think as a kid, you find that one funny because Tommy Lee Jones was Two-Face. The Riddler, Jim Carrey.
That's right, he was.
Two-Face, and then you also had Vane and Poison Ivy in those. So like they did a whole character list in those movies, which was awesome. Obviously, if we don't like to talk about Mr. Freeze, but Arnold, those as well.
I'm just saying they did it before the MCU did. They did the big crossover before.
I would have to say my favorite Batman is probably still Christian Bale, and it may be a little bit of bias just because I'm a huge fan of The Dark Knight, man.
Yeah.
Heath Ledger really pulled off that Joker role. And I think to me that could have been one of the greatest franchise movies had not what happened. But because I think he would have obviously been in the next one and moving forward. But I think that was probably my favorite Batman is Christian Bale.
Okay.
And it may be because I'm biased that The Dark Knight's my favorite Batman movie.
See, and for me, I think Dark Knight is also my favorite. However, Ben Affleck is my favorite Batman / Bruce Wayne. And the reason I say that is, even going back to comic books, animated series, and he's got amazing. He's with Jennifer Lopez. I mean,
again,
who's Christian Bale with?
Again, I mean, she could have went back to anybody, and she went back to Ben Affleck.
Yeah, but I just felt that Ben Affleck was the best Bruce Wayne that we've seen so far. And, I just feel we didn't really get to see his Batman. We saw Batman vs. Superman, which was DC's attempt to kind of fast forward what was happening in the DC extended universe to keep up with the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And even
in, the
Justice League.
They didn't really touch a whole lot on his character besides he's just going around building this team.
Yeah.
Which, obviously one of my biggest flaws is I wish DC would just take their time with some of these movies and create a universe like Marvel has done.
Oh, yeah.
You know, starting with Iron Man and then moving forward Captain America and all those things, and how they like all ended up intertwining with each other.
Yeah, and then you do the team up movie.
Yeah,
Yeah.
DC just never had the patience, and I feel like they rushed into it, which you lose, you know, a great Batman / like you said, Bruce Wayne with Ben Affleck. It's just that made it tough.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, and I mean, you look at the success of some of the DC solo films. You know, Wonder Woman, for example. Aquaman.
First one. Let's not talk about the second one.
Second one, I agree, was terrible. I loved the first one. I loved Aquaman. You know,
Aquaman
The
was
Flash
great.
we still haven't seen, but it's supposed to be the Flashpoint paradox, which, for those of you who don't know, Barry Allen goes back in time to save his mom, creates essentially a different timeline where his future is changed. Like Bruce Wayne was killed by the robber instead of Thomas and Martha Wayne.
Interesting.
So then Thomas Wayne becomes Batman.
See,
but he's like a murderous Batman.
So I have not seen that much detail on that movie yet. So that's interesting.
Yeah,
That'd be kind of cool to see.
Well, and what
That's a
was
different
cool
aspect.
is in the Batman vs Superman, Jeffrey Dean Morgan played Thomas Wayne at the opening flashback, and I forget her name. The woman who plays Maggie in The Walking Dead, she played Martha Wayne, and both of them at one point said
She was in the beginning of that movie, Batman vs Superman, when
Yeah.
they went over his.
Yeah. Jeffrey Dean Morgan and her were killed by the robber. She had, the
I didn't
pearl
know that
necklace.
she was the one there. Okay,
Yeah, and
interesting.
both of them said that they would be willing in a Flashpoint type movie to reprise their role. So picture Jeffrey Dean Morgan
Two
as
great
a
actors,
murderous
yeah.
Batman.
That would
And,
be pretty cool to see, actually.
yeah. And I mean, as far as the woman who plays Maggie, I just love to see her because I think she's gorgeous.
She did awesome in Walking Dead.
Yeah.
I really liked her character in that, so it'd be cool to see her on a big screen movie like that.
Yeah.
So.
But I just think that with this new Batman series, I can't say series. We don't know that it's going to be a series, but I feel like it's really going to be a fresh start for them to hopefully do what Marvel did and establish their own cinematic universe. Now, for those of you who don't know, this Batman movie does not take place in the DC universe, extended universe. So, the Batman that we've seen, Ben Affleck, that's still the extended universe Batman. Aquaman, Wonder Woman, Superman, The Flash. This is a separate story, kind of like how the Joker was a separate story. So, I mean, I feel like this could be an attempt to kind of reboot their extended universe and hopefully give people, what they want, and just make some better stuff. DC, I mean, come on.
You can do it.
You had Henry
We wanna see
Cavill. That man is beautiful, and you CGI'd his lip.
Did they really?
You didn't see that?
No,
oh man,
but-
you have to go back and watch the Justice League. They had to do reshoots, and at the time,
Snyder Cut?
no, not the Snyder Cut. He fixed that in the Snyder Cut. But the original Justice League, they had to do reshoots, and Henry Cavill was doing, I think it might have been one of the James Bond films. And part of his contract...
He hasn't been confirmed to new James Bond.
No, wasn't he like a bad guy in one of them?
No.
I haven't seen all of them.
No, because he's actually in talks of
being Bond.
being a potential
Yeah.
new James Bond.
I can't think of the movie it was, but he was contractually obligated to keep a mustache. No, not The Witcher. This was before The Witcher, but he was contractually obligated to keep his mustache. So when he had to go back for reshoots, he had a mustache, and they CGI'd it to make it look like he didn't have one. And there's certain scenes, like he at one point he grabs Batman and he's like, "Do you bleed?" And you just see the CGI lip, and it's the worst thing that I've ever seen in my life. And I've seen a movie called Demon Baby, which was terrible, and this was worse than that. So, but Batman, it actually comes out tomorrow. It's supposed to come out on Friday, but
You're going to see it, right?
I'm going to. Of course I am. We got you a ticket too, but you still haven't confirmed to me if you're coming. But I know
I'll let you know. I'll let you know tonight.
But yeah, I'm going to see it at 7:00 tomorrow. I know it's got like 90% on Rotten Tomatoes right now. Elijah would love that I just quote it Rotten Tomatoes because he's huge into movie critics.
If you say his name, do we have to credit him in any way?
No.
Oh, okay. All right. Elijah. All
No,
right, getting that out of the way.
I don't make him pay rent here. So
Oh, yeah. Okay, cool.
I don't have to credit him.
Freebie.
But yeah, Batman comes out in theaters everywhere tomorrow. So make sure you get your tickets. And we're actually going to take a small break, and then we'll be back for our video game segment.
All right. Let's do it. Hey, everybody. Welcome back from our little break to the MGS podcast, your one-stop shop for movies, games, and sports. If you were with us before, we were talking about the movie Batman, which is, again, releasing tomorrow. Definitely make sure you guys check it out. We will be there on opening night to go see that movie, so we'll have more next week on our thoughts and opinions on that. We look forward to it. Moving on to our game section of the podcast, which we'll be talking about Call of Duty 2022 and beyond.
Yeah.
A lot of new cool things happening there. Some of you may agree or disagree with some of the things that are going on, but I'll let you take it from here and let's get it started.
Yeah, well, I wanted to start by just apologizing to everybody for your Arnold Schwarzenegger impression during the the movie segment.
You weren't supposed to bring that up because now people are going to have to rewind this.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Wait, what did he say?
Yeah, rewind. I'll get a timestamp and I'll post it in the video. But no, I'm not actually going to do that. But yeah, so Call of Duty, and to start off this discussion, I want to point out that Paul and I are both Battlefield guys. I started playing Battlefield for Bad Company 2. When I met Paul, we started playing Battlefield 3, Battlefield 4, and so
6, 7, 8. Oh no, they went back in time.
Yeah, they went back in time.
3 and 4.
Yeah.
So confusing. Now they're up to 2042.
Yeah, but we've got nothing against Call of Duty. I think they make some great games. I have a little bit of hate towards them because I've been banned on multiple occasions.
Cheater.
Apparently, I'm cheating. I'll record my fingers and my screen so everyone can see that I'm not cheating.
No, you
but
won't. I've been asking this guy to get his own stream for 2 years now, and he still won't pull the trigger on it. But yeah, he's gonna record what he does on the keyboard.
Yeah,
just get the stream, bro. Get the stream so we can all see it.
The thing with Call of Duty, and no offense, Call of Duty players, your game is easy. It is super easy. There's no skill involved in it. You just jump and slide and shoot, and in that order, and you won't die. But with Call of Duty 2022,
that's the trick.
That's the trick. Yeah, I mean, you ever watch you and my brother play games? You guys just stand still, and you're like, "How did I get shot?" Well, you were standing in an open field. Well, what are you expecting?
Well, Battlefield 2042 decided to leave a lot of open fields.
There's a lot of open fields in 2042, but we're going to save 2042 for. I mean, we could do an entire show on 2042.
Absolutely.
But for Call of Duty, so for those of you who don't know, Call of Duty 2022 is going to be Modern Warfare 2, not the remake of the original Modern Warfare 2, but a sequel to the 2019 game. And they're doing a lot of crazy stuff with this game. I don't know if that has anything to do with Microsoft purchasing Activision, so now Microsoft has some control over those decisions. But with 2022, they're going to be implementing a new game mode. I don't know if it's going to be at launch, but the game mode is called the DMZ, which is the Demilitarized Zone. Do you know Escape from Tarkov?
Yes.
So, for those of you who don't, Escape from Tarkov... Yeah, he has no idea. He's a console player. Loser! For those of you who don't know, Escape from Tarkov is what they call a extraction royale. So they took the battle royale formula and they made it significantly more difficult. Where in Tarkov you're deploying, you're looting, you're trying to get as many weapons as you can. You've got AI who are shooting at you and also other players, and the goal is just to loot. But if you die, you lose everything. So you can go in with your loadout, your best gear, your best armor, best gun. If you die,
yeah, but most, I guess, well, I mean, I guess to think of it from a PUBG standpoint, which put me on the map for these battle royale type games. But when you die in PUBG,
Yeah, the difference is, so picture
start over every time, I guess.
Warzone, you can call in your loadout for like the 10,000 credits or whatnot. Picture you get your loadout, and then when you die, you don't have that weapon ever again, and you can never use it again. So that's what Tarkov is it's extremely realistic in the sense that if you and I are in a post-apocalyptic area, we run into each other and I kill you, I'm going to take your stuff. So now you lost all your stuff. Now you can get insurance for it, and eventually you can possibly get some of it back.
So wait, in the middle of the game, I'll just call State Farm or Progressive and be like, "Hey,
why'd you have to lead with State Farm? Is it because I'm Jake?"
Yeah, that's where I was.
Yeah, it's a terrible name. Thanks, Mom. But so DMZ is supposed to be Call of Duty's version of that type of extraction royale. So some of the things that they've been working on, they're working on this advanced AI, and this AI, they're supposed to like squad up, and you can run into AI bosses and other AI people while also having to worry about looting other players.
Why do I feel like all these games can't get AI right? Like I feel like there's, they want to make this advanced AI. So sure, bring it on, because it makes it more challenging. But I feel like these games just don't get AI right. You look around and next thing you know, they're standing in the middle of the field shooting at nothing.
Yeah,
or they're hitting you once and it's like, hey, I'm here.
Yeah.
And then you turn around and get an easy kill. So like, how advanced are these AIs going to be to the point where it's like, you actually have to have some skill?
So, I don't want to keep bringing this back to Tarkov, but this topic on Call of Duty that's where they're getting their inspiration from. But in Tarkov, the AI, sometimes it's hard to tell the AI from the players. The only difference is in Tarkov, the AI talks. So like you'll randomly hear someone speaking Russian, now you know that that's an AI. But as far as their accuracy, hell, you'll turn a corner and get instantly domed by an AI, which is, you talk about the balance of AI. That's kind of you got to find a sweet spot in between there, because you've got the AI that you were talking about, like in Battlefield. Those AI are stupid. Like I can just kill 15 of them within a few seconds and they don't even shoot at me.
Yeah, I mean, I played a lot of PUBG and they started adding in AIs and it was like
just garbage. And
I thought I started getting really good. Yeah, dude. I was like, dude, I'm working people right now, dude. Like, and then I find out from one of my buddies like, hey, they just added a bunch of AIs, and I'm like, wait, so I don't have 12 kills?
You know what I love about PUBG though? When I started playing with you, Andy, and Corey again, that first game back, I haven't played in how many years, and I got more kills than you guys. I'm not saying I'm better. I'm just, I am. I'm better.
Go back to Call of Duty.
But you got to find a balance with the AI, because you can't peek a corner, because AI, obviously they know you're there.
Right.
You can't peek a corner and instantly get shot, because that's too advanced. And then at the same time, you don't want just some dummies running around the field just free game. So what Call of Duty's been working on now, I don't know how exactly they're going to implement the intelligence of the AI, but they're just referring to it as an advanced AI. They're also supposed to have this system where limb damage is important. One of the highlights that Tom Henderson, for those of you who don't know, Tom Henderson is a very reputable video game leaker. You can find him on Twitter at Tom Henderson.
We say limb damage, like you get hit in the arm and it's no longer like accessible, or you get hit in the leg and you start limping?
Yeah, a little of both. And even with the AI, if you shoot the AI in the leg, they're supposed to start limping. One of the things that Tom Henderson pointed out is, you shoot them in the throat and you'll actually hear them gargling on their own blood. But since they're still alive, they'll still shoot at you. Even though you just shot them in the throat and they're like gargling, they're still going to shoot at you as they're falling down or whatnot.
Give your best gargle. Pretty professional over here.
that was the wrong kind of gargle.
That's what I was going for. That's why I wanted him to do it.
Hey, Mom, if you're watching this, I do not watch pornography. But yeah, so I'm excited for it because I love Escape from Tarkov, but I can't play it with any of my friends because, if I'm being 100% honest, even if you had a PC, because it's a PC only game, you're not good enough to play Escape from Tarkov, and I don't have any friends that aren't good enough. The room. I'm gonna say it to your face. But I'm excited for it. I think Battle Royale as a genre is kind of starting to fade away. A lot of streamers are going to.
I don't think it's fading away as much as it's opened up, new doors to a different style of play from your regular Halo multiplayer, and those type of games. So, it just allows for more players to be on screen and more competition. So, the Battle Royale aspect kind of just opened up doors to different opportunities for these companies to, make a lot of different type of games now, which is cool.
And personally, I love Battle Royales. I mean, after a while, they get a little bit stale. You get a different game that kind of reinvents the idea of Battle Royale. I think Warzone did a very good job of that at first, and then that game just got way too arcadey. But
I know it's not Battle Royale, but I mean, I loved it when these games were first talking about Battle Royale, and they're like, oh, it's like 100 people. And everybody just goes at him like, well, dude, I've been playing Battlefield for years. It's always like 64 people.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a lot of people in a game. You guys don't play that? No, we don't play Battlefield.
Yeah, you figure these Call of Duty people, they're used to a large team being 8 versus 8.
Right.
So they heard, 100 plus people on a map. They're like, wow.
And learning spawn points.
Innovation. They Call of Duty people, no offense again, Call of Duty people, they remind me of iPhone users. Full offense iPhone users, where they just
this one goes out to Andrew Spencer.
Where they just think everything they do is like innovation.
Right.
Like, hey guys, don't want to brag, my phone has a camera. Like,
we now throw grenades.
Well, like I remember when Call of Duty Vanguard came out, you can like shoot through doors and the door will blow up. So we've had that since Battlefield 1942.
Yeah, and they called that building destruction.
Yeah.
Wait, well, I just ran through a tank in Battlefield 4, and this game's been out for 10 years.
We'll be playing Battlefield 4, and like we'll be pinned down, and the door. You might remember a few scenarios like this. The door is covered. There's a tank or something out there. So we throw a grenade at the wall at the back of the building, blow a hole in the wall, run out. Like it was great, but. On the topic of the Battle Royale, though, with Modern Warfare 2, Modern Warfare 2022, they're also going to be doing Warzone 2. So they're not going to kill Warzone. Warzone is still going to be a game which incorporates Modern Warfare, Black Ops, and Vanguard.
By the way, that new map on Warzone sucks.
It's terrible.
It's awful.
Even with my aimbot. I can't hit anything.
It is awful. I played it a few times, and then I even tried to play a solo match like last week, and I was like, this is terrible. This map is...
It's... The colors are... It's very easy to blend in on different parts of that map. I feel like the idea behind the map with your different elevations... that's great. That's amazing. But they just didn't incorporate it well. But Warzone 2 is supposed to be a fresh start for Warzone. It's a new game. None of your progress from the first Warzone is going to carry over. None of the weapons from the first Warzone, so you're talking your Modern Warfare weapons, your Black Ops weapons, your Vanguard weapons, none of those are going to carry over. It's going to be brand new. And with Warzone 2, that advanced AI that they're going to be using in that DMZ Tarkov-like game mode, apparently the AI is also going to be in Warzone 2.
Okay.
Don't know exactly how they're going to incorporate the AI in there, because it's not going to be like PUBG where the AI is essentially taking the role of a player. It's going to be, you're still going to have your 128 players or however many it is.
Okay, so that was going to lead to my next question was, does it help game time initiation, like starting and getting into a match with these AI players? So if they don't count as actual people in the match, do you still have to wait 15 minutes to try to find
you're still going to have to wait for the lobby to fill, since the AI is just going to be a separate entity on the map. So I don't know, have you ever played, I don't think you have, but have you ever played Apex Legends?
I have. I played.
Okay.
We played for a little bit. Yeah. I didn't get into it too much. I wish I had it like a PC, because I've heard it runs a lot better through PC. And but I have a couple of buddies who have a stream, and I've watched them play it on there, and they're pretty damn good.
Because in Apex, the newest map that they came out with, there's different AI enemies that you can encounter on the map. There's like these tiger-like things, there's these spider-like things, and killing those, you can get loot from them, so they can drop certain high-tier loot that you can't get elsewhere.
Okay.
And my understanding is that's kind of going to be the idea with this AI in Warzone is, if you see these AI squads, you want to take them out because it's going to be high-tier loot. But then at the same time, you have to understand you're going to be firing. They're going to be firing back. Your position's going to be given away. So that's why the loot is going to be as high tier as it is, because you're drawing so much attention to yourself from the other players on the map. But I mean, I'm excited for it. I think Warzone was fun. It got a little too arcadey. I don't like the ridiculous skins and the gun camos.
That's Call of Duty for you, though, man.
Yeah.
It's always been that way.
And Battlefield tried to incorporate some of that.
Don't bring it up.
I know,
Dude,
I know. I love Battlefield 2042. I want to start by saying that, but there are a lot of issues with that game. But we still play it all the time.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah.
Just fix your shit, man. Get it together.
They'll be all right. They'll be all right. But
no, we waited a long time for a modern game to come back.
We did, because we had Battlefield 1, and then we had Battlefield 5, World War 1, World War 2, respectively, and then we got 2042, which, for me, it does feel a lot like Battlefield 4, but it's not as good.
I would have been happier if they just copied Battlefield 4 and put new maps in.
Yeah, updated the graphics. And, oh my God, I would have been okay with that too.
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
One thing that I will always admire about Battlefield, though, is they address the community pretty well. One of the big issues with the community with Call of Duty right now is there's a rumor of skill-based hit markers. Do you know what that is? So let's say you and I are going against each other. We're talking, a 0.5 kill death ratio versus 6.0 kill death ratio. Obviously, I am superior in every way, shape, and form. So there's been videos going around of, these better players are shooting the person, but their hits aren't registering. And then the lower skilled person will shoot back and all of their hits register. So like, your Tim the Tap Man's, just to throw out a random streamer, I don't know if this has happened to him, but he'll shoot you 10 times, only 5 of those hits will register. You'll shoot him and all 5 of your hits will register. So there's a rumor that to kind of even out the skill of the game, they're kind of capping the damage abilities of the better players.
So I was thinking you were going a different direction with the skill-based hit markers. I thought... This may sound dumb, so nobody judge here. Obviously, already nerd alert over here. Yeah. I was thinking like it was keeping track of where you're hitting targets and basing your skill upon that. Like if you're hitting people in the head more times, then obviously you're higher skilled. Or if you're hitting people in the arms or legs, then obviously you're lower skilled. But it's telling you your level of like aim based on those hit markers in that direction. But
so the idea in general behind skill-based matchmaking, which Call of Duty has been a huge advocate of skill-based matchmaking, because they want to put you in people that are similar to your skill level. That way,
but if I join you and you're level 63 and I'm level 24,
that's one of the problems.
I'm going in with a bunch of level 64 PC players who are raking people, and I'm over here on a console, running slow motion.
And when I played a lot of Warzone with, Eric and T-Bone and Claudia, JP, the people in California.
Shout out to Cali people.
We found that if, we had someone else be the party leader, the skill-based matchmaking wouldn't be as bad, because we figured it may be incorporated by the person who's actually searching for the lobby.
Which would make sense.
Yeah, so... And we did find that if I was a party leader, we were in crazy, intense lobbies where everyone was dying right away.
See, so you notice that it's not just me. Even other people he plays with, he's the higher skilled guy. So,
I mean, I think...
Don't think that I'm just trash over here. I mean, I'm trash, take out once a week on Thursdays, but, there's other people out there who, take it out.
I mean, I'm sorry, JP, about this, but... So myself, my friends Claudia and JP, we were playing Warzone one time, and so Claudia and I were dead. JP was the only one alive, which already blows my mind that I died before JP. But spectating him and just watching him just ADS at a wall, just staring at the wall. He hears footsteps next to him, but nope, he's just staring at that wall, and it was me and Claudia were getting so frustrated. And I mean, I love you, JP. I won't talk about it anymore. But yeah, I mean, so that's a loophole we found in the skill-based matchmaking, is if a lower level person ran or searched for the lobby, we would get into that person's type of skill-based matchmaking. Personally, I don't like skill-based matchmaking. Maybe it's just because I prefer to get 100 kills a game instead of 20. But the skill-based hit markers, if that's true, where they're nerfing, my damage to make it easier for the lower skilled person. That's crazy.
It's wild technology, but at the same. So to me, I'm sitting there thinking, I'm decent at video games, but to me, I feel like that takes away from the players who are good. You know, like, so you're nerfing somebody's skill just to make the other person feel better, which goes into a lot of everything going on in the world now. Like we have to mask things to make people feel better about themselves. So let's nerf the guys who are over here playing countless hours and building themselves up. And then it's like, but the higher you build yourself up, the lower we're going to pull you down.
Well, and Call of Duty hasn't done a good job with it either. When Vanguard was incorporated into Warzone, now you and I being Battlefield players, we know about bullet bloom. So if you fire a fully automatic weapon, the more you fire it, the less accurate it gets. Very similar to real life. So Vanguard incorporated bullet bloom, and people freaked out about it because every bullet isn't going perfectly straight. And the reason bullet bloom is a thing is also to help those lower level players who their aim isn't as good. It didn't work well for Warzone. They didn't incorporate it well. It was terrible, so they reverted back to the straight as an arrow bullets. But I think part of the skill-based matchmaking, the skill-based hit markers, is with the Ricochet anti-cheat, which I want to start out by telling people it is fake. It's supposed to be a kernel-level anti-cheat. For those of you who don't know, kernel-level means it installs software into your PC that scans your PC while the game is running, so it makes sure that there's no background apps. No malicious background apps.
And yes, you agreed to it in the terms.
No, there was no terms. There was no terms. There was no installation of a kernel-level driver, so it's fake. Essentially, what they're doing is what they've always been doing, where they're reviewing a case-by-case scenario and incorporating bans, or in this case, what they're doing is when they quote-unquote ban someone or shadow ban them, their bullets don't do any damage. So they'll still let the suspected cheater into the game, but what Activision said, I should say Treyarch, not Treyarch, Ravensoft, they're the ones who are currently doing Warzone. They said that if you have a superhuman accuracy, like accuracy that isn't supposed to be possible for a normal person, essentially your bullets aren't going to do any damage. And I think that's part of the problem with this skill-based hit markers is some of these people are very accurate, so that anti-cheat that they rolled out is kind of going over to them and nerfing their damage. But I mean, if you're gonna have an anti-cheat, just have an anti-cheat. We're all sick of hackers, especially in Call of Duty. Jokes aside, I don't hack. I've been killed by some crazy rage hackers.
He says that, but still doesn't have a stream. So.
I've got, we're streaming now. Well, we're not streaming, we're recording.
Yeah. Are we on the computer streaming games? No, she's in here streaming your beautiful face.
When I first met Paul, I told him that I wished he got hit by a car. And a lot of times
it was a truck.
It was a truck, yeah.
And I'm pretty sure he referenced like a semi-truck.
Yeah, I even said it at your wedding too.
Yeah. But immediately we were best friends right there.
Yeah, but at your wedding,
I like him because he's truthful.
Yeah. I wanted to sing a song at your wedding. Instead of doing my best man speech, I wanted to sing the song "If I Were Gay" by Stephen Lynch.
God, well, you already sung at my engagement party. What was the song you sung karaoke on the engagement party?
Which one? I sang. Are you talking about like the acoustic version of "Get Low"?
Yeah.
369.
No, that's no wait.
I opened up to Bohemian Rhapsody. That was the first song.
I swear you did something else that was wild, but I can't think of it off the top of my head. I think I have a video of it somewhere.
All I know is, why are we talking about you? Let's get back to
the
video game. But regardless of what's going on with Ricochet and the anti-cheat, I am legitimately excited for what they're doing with Modern Warfare. If these rumors and leaks are true with this advanced AI, also they're skipping annual releases now. Call of Duty has been known to, kind of copy and paste the game on a yearly basis.
Sure.
Between their three studios, Infinity Ward, Treyarch, and Ravensoft, they kind of all do their own thing. But now they're skipping the annual releases. Modern Warfare 2022 has the longest development time of a Call of Duty game that, you and I have really been a part of. They've already been working on this one, I believe, for 3 years. So there's going to be some cool stuff. And with this DMZ game mode, Warzone 2 being incorporated into it, I think it's going to be easier for them to carry the game on for an additional year.
Right, where they don't feel like they have to rush out a new version or a new game, like kind of like Battlefield. I mean, I hate to keep going back to it, but Battlefield
guys. I mean,
Battlefield releases a game, and you don't see another game for 2 to 3 years.
Yeah,
and I mean, I think the quickest turnaround we saw for Battlefield was 1 and 5.
1 and
Am I
5.
correct? The World War II style games.
I think it was
World
actually
War I?
4 in Hardline.
Oh, I forgot about Hardline.
Everyone forgets about Hardline.
God, but I did enjoy Hardline.
I did enjoy Hardline.
It was good. Yeah.
It was good. I still,
cool
to this
maps on that
day,
one.
have a game clip of me telling you there was a guy right in front of you. And, just to reference JP again, you did the most JP move, and you got domed.
Yeah.
And then I killed all of them.
Yeah.
Kind of like when we were playing Battlefield the other night, and you're like, oh, there's 4 guys on me, and I came in and killed all of them and then revived you because I'm clutch.
Yeah. 4 guys came on him.
4 guys came all over me, and I won.
Yeah.
But
ate them all up.
Treyarch, and for those of you who don't know, Treyarch is kind of famous for zombies. They're the ones, I believe, I could be wrong, feel free to correct me in the comments if I'm wrong, but I believe Treyarch is the ones who started zombies with, I think the first one was Nazi zombies, so it would have been one of the World War II games. And then Black Ops, of course, have their zombie modes, but to kind of fill in the gap next year, and then, again, this is a leak from Tom Henderson. You guys will probably hear me reference him a lot in terms of video game rumors. But apparently Treyarch is working on a standalone zombies title for next year. So it's not supposed to be the next Call of Duty title that's supposed to be the annual release. They're still waiting the additional year for that game, but apparently we're going to get some sort of standalone zombies game. Which
It better not be full price.
I hope not. I'm not going to pay $60 for a
No,
zombie
it better
game.
be like $29.99.
Yeah, I mean, well, for you people, you
Because I'll just keep playing Plants vs. Zombies at that point.
Plants vs. Zombies. My nephew Braylon used to really like that game.
Dude, it's actually pretty fun. Have you ever played it?
No, because I'm an adult.
Yeah, it's, well,
Yeah,
you do a lot of childlike things.
No,
so.
I play adult games like Minecraft
Okay.
and Roblox.
Yeah, Roblox. How much money you dive into that game?
I've actually put a lot of money into
bet you
Roblox,
did.
but not because
you
of
put
me.
a lot of money into everything. Don't you dare blame this on your child.
It is Camden. He's like, oh, daddy, I want some Roblox. And he'll do this like super cute face, and it's like, fuck.
All right, here's 100.
No, never.
200.
No, I've got him on a subscription. It's $4.99 a month, which gives him access to premium things, plus he gets 450 Robux per month, okay? It's $4.99.
Riley, you're never going to get that.
You say that now. But no, I don't play Roblox. I play real games like Squad.
Yeah.
Squad
We'll talk
is
about
amazing.
that. We'll get that on another podcast. Too,
Yeah. And
I want to see it, so you're going to have to show me a little bit later.
Yeah, it's a phenomenal game. But, kind of to close out the Call of Duty segment here, Battlefield fans here again. But I'm excited. I'm excited for Call of Duty. I'm excited for what they're doing. I'm excited for the acquisition by Microsoft, because I feel like Phil Spencer at Microsoft, he's a good guy, and he's got some great ideas. And getting the Microsoft team in with that existing Activision team and just putting those great minds together, I think we're just going to get some really good stuff from Call of Duty, which as Battlefield people, I feel like that's a good thing too, because that might kick EA into gear to replicate their former success with the older Battlefield games. So I'm excited for Call of Duty, and we'll see what they bring on later this year when Modern Warfare 2 comes out.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Obviously, any new games that are coming out, we're gonna try them out, throw it on the podcast, and see what mixes up with it. So hopefully they got something good for us.
Meanwhile, we are going to take another break, but we will be back with our final segment of the show, which is sports. Welcome back to the MGS Podcast, your one-stop shop for movies, games, and sports. We've reached the final segment of our first podcast. Bravo.
Episode 1.
Last section is going to be about sports. So we are going to try to just highlight the biggest news in sports, just because obviously with sports there's so many different sports, so many different key players, key people, so we're just going to try to stick to the main news. And to start this off, I do want to say congratulations to the Cincinnati Bengals. Unfortunately, they came up a little bit short in the Super Bowl, but Paul here is a huge Bengals fan. And for those of you who don't know, Paul's a Bengals fan. I'm a Green Bay Packers fan, born and raised in Green Bay, Wisconsin. He follows a bandwagon. He's like, oh, yeah, my dad was a Bengals fan. I've never heard him cheer for the Bengals a day in my life until this year. But
yeah, right, bro. Through thick and thin.
Yeah, but, on the topic of the Green Bay Packers, and there might be some bias here, I feel like the biggest news right now is what is going on with Aaron Rodgers.
Definitely think it's one of the bigger news stories out there for sure. There's a lot of big things going on in free agency this year. A lot of teams right now who don't even know their quarterback situation, which brings us to Aaron Rodgers and the quarterback situation for the Green Bay Packers and kind of figuring out what they're going to do with this guy. There's been a lot of bad blood, I feel like, in that organization with him and the ownership or general manager, I guess, because the city owns the team. Which I believe is the only NFL team which is owned by the city of Green Bay, right?
And they recently just did another share sale, so people were able to buy shares again. I think this time they priced them at like $350 per share.
Which just means that the ticket sales are now into 2045 before you can even get a season ticket.
Oh yeah, it's most of the waiting list for season tickets in Green Bay is 20+ years. So
crazy.
So it's pretty hard to get season
Huge
tickets.
Fan base.
I know I've been on the waiting list almost my whole life, and they still haven't called me. I'd move back to Green Bay if they called me.
Yeah, from what I hear is like people get those as Christmas gifts in Green Bay is to get put on those waiting lists for seats and tickets.
Literally.
So,
but with Aaron Rodgers, I think he said a lot. I don't know if you saw, he had posted something on Instagram, which everyone was talking about it for a while. It was a long message where I guess he had just gotten back from a 12-day cleanse, and this was the first thing that he did after that cleanse, where he posted this long, what I thought was very cryptic message, thanking different people within the organization, different people within his personal life. And then the last picture on the Instagram post was a picture of Randall Cobb with a space, and then Devontae Adams, which was from the Kansas City game that Aaron missed with COVID. And a lot of people are taking that post as like, look, this is, the Packers got to move on without me. I'm not ready for that.
I know you're not ready for it, and I don't think Green Bay is ready for it either. But even before that message on Instagram, I kept thinking there was a cryptic message into his MVP speech.
Yeah.
Going up there, it seemed very emotional. Mm-hmm. Going up there and saying how much he appreciates the coach, who, for the longest time, I thought they didn't have the greatest relationship. But in that speech, it made it seem like they are a lot closer than what's led to believe. Which, you go in, and obviously I think the media paints a picture whatever direction they want just to kind of stir up things. So,
of course,
obviously there's that. And you truly don't know what's going on unless you're in the locker room and you're with those guys every day like that team is. But, I keep thinking, like, he's got to come back. I don't know that there's a suitable place that would be as good as Green Bay. There's a lot of situations he can go into. Tennessee doesn't have the cap, and you're still going to go into the AFC where you have Patrick Mahomes, you have Josh Allen, and a lot of young talent over there. Like, do you want to go in there and compete? And I don't even want to forget about Baker Mayfield. He'll compete for him for most commercials, but that's about it. But I don't want to forget about Justin Herbert either, because I think he's a phenomenal quarterback, and he's going to be a scary threat if they get a couple more pieces over there for him as well. But it would just be an even tougher division to go into to try to win in with a lot of these young quarterbacks and a lot of these young teams who have a lot of key players to get to the Super Bowl, get to an AFC title game. So I think the road and the journey would be harder. So I think his safest bet is to be in the NFC. But I mean, where do you go? You don't go somewhere where you're going to give up the number one wide receiver in the game, who has made it pretty clear that he wants to be with Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
I mean, he's even gone out and said, if Aaron's leaving, we're a package deal. I mean, the guy obviously loves him as a quarterback. Not many people in Aaron Rodgers' inner circle apparently say that about him. He's not been the easiest person, I guess, to get along with. But again, I don't know personally. Those are just rumors and things you hear about him. But I would find it hard for him to leave Green Bay with what he has there and what they're capable of. Just because they fall out short doesn't mean that the team's bad. So, they just got to figure out some things to get over the hump.
I think the biggest problem right now is going into this coming season, we're already negative 40 mil in cap space.
Which is one of the highest, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I think it might be the highest in negative cap space. And that's with, they want to re-sign Devontae Adams to a long-term deal, which I agree completely. I think Devontae Adams is the best in the game.
So real quick, just to ask, where does your negative cap space come from? Why are you guys so low in Green Bay being one of the top in the negative cap space?
I think a big part of it was the restructure of the salary cap and the commitments we had made a while back. I don't know if it's bonuses. I don't know the exact details of it, but I know a lot of it has to do with the rework of the salary cap. Where most sports are increasing their salary cap,
right.
The NFL, after having a record year in 2020 with COVID, they reduced it, which makes no sense. But of course, the wealthy owners have to be wealthy owners. But as far as how we got 40 mil in the negative, that just blows my mind, because we've got a lot of key players who their contracts are up. They're going into free agency. I feel like this is one thing I admired about Tom Brady. Tom Brady took into consideration, cap space. He took pay cuts so that they could bring on different talent to help better the team.
Sure, but let's not get it twisted either. Tom Brady also has a supermodel wife who makes way more money than he does as well. So money really wasn't a huge option for him. But I also think Tom Brady was more about legacy than he was about getting paid.
Agree. And Aaron tries to, I feel he tries to portray that same mindset, but his actions speak louder, because he always wants to be the highest paid quarterback. Now, do I think Aaron Rodgers deserves to be the highest paid quarterback? I think so. One of the top.
I mean, dude, he's back-to-back MVPs.
Yeah.
And as he said it, in his MVP speech, he shares, that with just a very few people.
Yeah.
I mean
Peyton Manning's the only one.
Yeah, who has, I think, 3.
Peyton has 5.
Oh, really? I forgot it was that much. But he did.
Wait, you might be right. Peyton might have 4 and Rodgers has 3. I
think this is Rodgers' 3rd, and I think Peyton had 1 more.
Yeah, so Peyton has 4, Rodgers has 3.
I mean, there's no question about it. The guy has a ton of talent. But that's another thing, if he leaves somewhere else, who's going to have that cap to pay him that money?
And that's the biggest problem. The rumor right now, this is being reported by some of the bigger, I wouldn't say, they're not really trustworthy anymore, like Adam Schefter, for example. His information, he did screw Tom Brady's retirement party, but his information that he's been talking about the past couple of years, some of it's premature, some of it's false. But, him, amongst other people, are reporting that Aaron Rodgers wants $50 million a year. $50 million a year.
Steep number.
And a lot of teams are not going to be able to pay that, or just willing to. If they can afford it, they're not going to be willing to pay
That's
that.
Because this day and age, people are going out and they're finding other key players to make their quarterback successful. That the quarterback position, you still need to be great. But if you have those key players around you, it makes that job a lot easier. So you don't have to be an Aaron Rodgers to get to the Super Bowl, but you have to be good. I mean, obviously, we look at, again, the Josh Allen, the Justin Herbert. I mean, these guys are skilled. They have the skills to take those teams to the chip,
And then on the flip side, you've got Ryan Tannehill, where not the best quarterback, but they've got those key players where you don't need the GOAT behind center. You just need someone who is going to get the job done when he needs to get it done.
It goes back to, too, about their defenses. I mean, look at their D-line.
Yeah.
I mean, 9 sacks even on Burrow. I mean, that was the biggest thing going in. But, you know, I mean, they have the best running back in the league at Derrick Henry, who deserves, obviously, also all the money in the world to continue to do what he's doing.
You know what I would love to see? You standing next to Derrick Henry.
I'm still bigger, bro.
You're 5'4".
In the gut, I mean.
Oh, yeah.
In the gut.
But, you know, with Rodgers, you know, there's all this talks about him going to the Broncos. Because, you know, Nathaniel Hackett, Packers offensive coordinator, he's now the head coach of the Packers.
And everybody's like, he's going to follow him down. And he even came out and said, I'm not here to recruit Aaron Rodgers. I'm here to win football games.
Yeah, and I just think, you know, at this point in Aaron Rodgers' career, I feel like the Packers is his option. He's not going to go anywhere else. I mean, obviously, the contract is going to have to be reworked. We have to do a lot of things to reduce that negative salary cap that we have. But, you know, he's got a great relationship with Matt LaFleur, who, you know, essentially is our offensive coordinator. He calls the offensive plays. They brought back the OG quarterbacks coach, to be Rodgers' quarterback coach again. You know, he was there when Rodgers first came, and I want to say he spent the first 7 seasons with Rodgers. Then he went on to other places, then he retired. Now he came out of retirement. He's back coaching for the Packers. But I just can't see Aaron Rodgers at his age going anywhere else, because, you know, one thing that's always going to be a shadow over him, we make it to the NFC Championship game all the time. It's pretty normal as a Packers fan to expect my team to be in the NFC Championship game. But we can never get over that hump, and there's always an excuse. You know, we need an NFC Championship game at home. We got one against the Bucs. We lost.
Do you want to tell you where it jinxed? You know what jinx you guys have to fight?
What's that?
It's the onside kick.
Are you talking about Seattle?
Yeah.
And Arizona.
The onside kick where he muffed it.
Yeah.
And I think I haven't even heard about that guy since then. I think Green Bay killed him and they buried him somewhere.
Yeah. He's somewhere dead in a ditch.
Not really. So just
that game was rough. I want to say we were up by 16 in the third quarter, and then, you know, Seattle rallied back. Mind you, playing in Seattle, and this was Legion of Boom was in Seattle. They had arguably the best defense, the loudest stadium. You know, the 12-man thing was still, you know, deep in effect threat there. Yeah. And you know, we went into Seattle and we were kicking their ass.
Is that the same year that Russell Wilson threw the game-winning interception in Seattle?
I don't think so.
Was that the year before?
I want to say that was the year before.
It's like the controversy heard around the world.
Yeah, I mean, that was when the replacement officials were in, and, you know, the next week, the real officials were back.
Yeah.
So I think that finally settled the NFL's dispute with those officials.
So thank you guys for taking that hit for the NFL.
Because everyone knows that was an interception.
Yeah.
Like
I said, the game-winning interception. I've never seen that before in the history of football.
I want to say that was Morgan Burnett. He was one of our safeties at the time. I could be wrong, but I want to say that's who it was, number 43. And, you know, you look at those replays, and that ball is clearly in that man's hands. And Seattle won. And, you know, what's funny is that's when I started hating Russell Wilson and Pete Carroll. And it's not because...
Oh, it wasn't Pete Carroll chewing his gum?
Oh, man. You know, I was about to chew gum before we started the podcast. And I'm like... And, you know, I'm just like, I don't want, you know, my stank breath reaching over to Paul, so I was going to put in some gum. But then I literally thought of Pete Carroll. But... No, after that game, you know, they were asked about that interception. Well, touchdown.
Yeah.
And, you know, like Russell Wilson is like, oh, yeah, you know, our guy just made a great play on the ball. Clearly a touchdown, you know, it was definitely a great play. It's like, no, just, you know, accept that it was a mistake. You still won the game. Nothing is going to change that.
Never.
But, you know, have some integrity.
Never,
You know, Russell, you played in Wisconsin. You know, you played for the Badgers, and now you're just stabbing me in the heart multiple times. But, you know, speaking of Russell Wilson... you know, his contract's up. Well, is it up, or is he just wanting out?
I want to say he has 1 year left.
Okay, but he wants out.
Yeah,
I mean, it's.
There's rumors now saying that he doesn't want out, but yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'd have to read in a little bit more on what's going on over there, but everybody kind of keeps saying like this is the end of that dynasty or that era of Russell Wilson there. But again, same thing. You know, like with Aaron Rodgers, I kind of think, where are you going to go?
Yeah.
You know, I mean...
To Green Bay, I'd take Russell Wilson.
I mean, yeah, if Aaron Rodgers leaves, yeah, 100%. Absolutely. But, I mean, then I think of places that he might be a good fit. Well, Tampa
Yeah.
would be a great fit for Russell Wilson.
Hell,
And
I mean, even, imagine a Russell Wilson or Aaron Rodgers caliber quarterback taking over for Ryan Tannehill. I know they've committed to Tannehill, but imagine if you had a Russell Wilson there, where you have a quarterback who is so dangerous on the ground. Now, mind you, Tannehill has good legs. I mean, that man can run too.
he's a big guy.
You see him picking up, 50 rushing yards a game. Sometimes these massive runs too. And I know when we played them, he had like a 45-yard run against us.
Well, I don't know if you saw the Hilton interception on the Bengals game for the in the playoffs.
I was at your house.
In division. No, I was in Austin with my brothers that game.
Okay.
You were there for the KC game and then the wild card game against Oakland.
That's right, Oakland. Yeah.
But so Hilton intercepts this ball off of the pick near the end zone, and Tannehill ran him down and tackled him. I'm like, dude, that's a big dude. Like, I mean, he's got to be high 6 feet, probably weighing 240. I mean, he's a big guy. I mean,
well, he saw the highlight from Seattle when what was it, Budda Baker was that who intercepted Russell Wilson and was running for what should have been a clear touchdown. And then he got chased down by
Metcalf.
Metcalf, and man,
that was wild.
Like,
I've seen Julio Jones do a couple of those too over in Atlanta.
Back to the Packers and talking about DK Metcalf and Julio Jones, the Packers have a lesser known receiver. His name is Equanimeous St. Brown, big body guy, and he's tall. I'm okay with that. Because the Packers didn't know how to use him. Now, mind you, he wasn't necessarily so reliable, but he didn't get the reps that I feel we could have given him, because when we did give him reps, it was for like wide receiver screens or reverses. And it's like, that's not where you're supposed to use that big body guy. Send him down the field and try to Calvin Johnson that ball.
Tight end built.
Yeah, he's,
right?
I want to say 6'5".
Wow, yeah.
His brother plays for the Lions and had a very successful rookie campaign.
Dude. Let me tell you something. That guy won me the championship in my fantasy league. I picked him up at like week 12 or something, and he just balled out at the end of the season. So that was a great pickup and won me my fantasy league. So
now, on the topic of the receivers, though, with the Rodgers decision, a lot of that's going to come down to Davante Adams and what they're going to do with Davante Adams, whether they're going to restructure his deal, or if they're going to franchise tag him, because of course they do have that option.
I mean, it goes. I feel like a lot of receivers, or even we're coming up to the same question with Jesse Bates, our safety, and whether or not we should franchise tag him or sign him to a commitment. Who I do believe is one of the top, I would say top 5, easily within top 10 safeties in the National Football League right now. And I just think that some of these players think that a franchise tag is a slap in the face. They don't like it. They don't, they'd rather get their big contract. I mean, they work their whole lives to get these big contracts and feel that they deserve of it. And obviously the agents are a big part of it, because they're in their ear saying, I can get you this, I can get you that. No, I'll get you this. But I think that Davante Adams would be willing to do a franchise tag just to run it back one more time with Aaron Rodgers.
I agree.
And say, look, I get franchise tag, but I'm still a free agent next year, and I can go where I want to if Rodgers doesn't put up, or if, I'm next year I'm going to get my money.
Yeah, well, and the thing is, even with the tag, he's going to be the highest paid receiver in the league on the tag.
Yeah.
So, hopefully he's willing to stay, because I think that's going to be a big part of Aaron Rodgers' decision, because he wants Davante Adams. He wants Randall Cobb. Now, Randall Cobb isn't the threat he once was, but he's a leader, and he's clutch on those short throws when you need someone to grab that ball and get the first down.
I'll tell you what, start running screens with Dion. What's the guy's name?
A.J. Dillon?
Dillon.
Yeah.
That kid is a stud.
Have you seen some of those catches that dude has made? This is a big man jumping through the air and reaching out as far as he can and grabbing a ball with his back turned sideways. Like,
dude, the guy's incredible.
Bizarre.
Like, I mean, is he a rookie?
No,
Second year.
Second year.
Yeah.
Yeah, we picked him up after we very smartly drafted Jordan Love in the first round.
Yeah, he has worked out really well for you guys. I mean, I watched him make some incredible plays this year. I'm like, dude, this guy could be competing for a number 1 spot somewhere.
Yeah, I think so. And I think, we did sign Aaron Jones to a long-term extension. part of me wishes we hadn't. Now, mind you, I love Aaron Jones. I'm a big fan. He's a phenomenal athlete, all-around athlete.
Did you hear about what he did for his charity?
I did not.
He donates a pair of shoes for every rushing yard that he has. I think this year he ended up with like 790 rushing yards, but he donates a pair of shoes this foundation for these kids for every rushing yard.
That's
so
nice.
His goal this year is obviously to get over 1,000. He wants to donate 1,000 pairs of shoes.
He's been there before
kids.
too.
Yeah.
He had a few games that he missed.
He's still dangerous. Yeah,
he is. And I love him. The reason I wish we hadn't signed him to a long-term deal is, one, cap space. We would have saved some, and two, I think A.J. Dillon he can easily be the number one guy. And
because he's a powerful third down back. They put in there a goal line.
Man, you know how mad I get when it's 4th and goal on the 1, and we put in little Aaron Jones. It's like, no, you put in that big man and you have him kill someone
run
now.
Somebody over.
And I feel like that's one of the big problems with the Packers is they fall short because of a lot of stupid decision making. And I think this last NFC Championship, a lot of that had to do with Aaron Rodgers. And I've been a firm believer in this for a long time, that Aaron Rodgers is afraid to force a pass.
Well, watching that game in Green Bay and against the 49ers, I watched you guys march up the field for the first touchdown of the game.
Wow.
It was
easy.
like, I even told my brother, I was like, wow, these guys are about to run over. And then something crazy happened. It was like fumble, fumble, fumble. It was like 3 fumbles in a row from both teams. And, the ball's getting turned over. And then the next thing you know, they kick a field goal. And then it was like, there's no more spreading the ball. Why is Aaron Rodgers trying to throw it to Devontae Adams every single time? Like, there was people wide open down the line, and I'm not seeing the ball being thrown to them. It was like he was only looking one direction.
Yeah.
And
terrible band.
I like some of their music. I'm just kidding. On my alone time, I listen to them. So, but I just kept thinking what's going on here? Like, why is he only forcing this ball? And it just didn't look Aaron Rodgers like, and unfortunately, it didn't look MVP like. I was like, where's Aaron Rodgers we've seen spread the ball all year? Mm-hmm. Why is this being forced right now? And I think that had to do, I don't want to point the finger, but that particular game I felt like was a lot of the weight could be pointed at Aaron Rodgers.
And I agree. He had a lot of short throws. Again, you pointed out that he was pretty much only throwing the ball to Devontae Adams. And, even on the last offensive play of the game that we had, he checks the ball down to Devontae Adams. I know, looking at the replay, every single wide receiver, with the exception of Devontae Adams, was wide open. And, Devontae Adams on that play was his first look and his only look. He didn't look anywhere else. And, I've had this idea with Aaron Rodgers for years where, now, a lot of people will argue with me about this, him being afraid to force the ball, but just look at the replays. He has a play here and there where he forces an amazing, over-the-shoulder throw or whatever it may be, back shoulder on the sideline. But
keep him just for the Hail Marys.
In the situation of you need to drive down the field and win a game, you see these other receivers or these other quarterbacks who are forcing this ball into triple coverage, down the middle of the field for a 15-yard gain because they know the game is on the line, and at this point, if they don't force that throw, they're going to lose anyway. And Rodgers, he has a tendency, in my opinion, he doesn't want the interception. He doesn't want that stat on him. So he refuses to force as many throws as I feel he could, especially with his accuracy.
So you're saying he's a stat pusher?
Yeah. I think so. I mean,
that's what a lot of people will say. Just listening to a lot of the news after the game, is that he likes to pad his stats and that he is constantly always thinking about
I think so.
His stats.
Now, for anybody listening to this right now, I am a massive Aaron Rodgers fan. I mean, you guys can't see it, but if Paul and I look to the left here, we've got two Aaron Rodgers fat heads. One is life-size. I've got a fake signed Aaron Rodgers photograph, a couple of Funko Pops, a cup, and a little statue. I love Aaron Rodgers. Love him.
He's got one just standing there naked with a football over his parts, too, so...
That's not a football. So I love the man, but I just feel this year we had everything in place that we needed to have in place. Because, I talked earlier about we always have an excuse. We needed an NFC Championship game at home. We got 2 in a row. Against Tom Brady and the Bucs, we didn't have a very good defense. This year we did. We had a phenomenal defense. We still fell short against the lowest seed in the NFC in the San Francisco 49ers.
I go back and I think about this, like, after the Super Bowl, it was a heartbreak. Like, I literally watched the game 3 more times within a 2-day span.
That's so depressing.
Dude, it was like a bad breakup. Like, I was back in like 6th grade after the first girl ever dated, and then I'm listening to these R&B songs. Name? Yeah, Bryce.
Bryce. Yeah, okay.
Listening to these R&B songs, and it's like, it was terrible. Like, you just felt this way. And, like, all week you're watching the NFL Network and you're watching all these sports channels and you're just constantly following about your team in the Super Bowl. And they're like, these guys will be back. They're going to be back. But the reality of it is the Super Bowl is hard to get to.
Unless you're Tom Brady.
Unless you're Tom Brady. The Super Bowl is hard to get to. And some people never go back.
Yeah.
I mean, you go back to
Aaron Rodgers. Good example of that. Dan Marino, yeah.
Dan Marino goes to the Super Bowl, loses, and then has a perfect season. I think the only team to have a perfect season, correct?
Yeah.
And he never goes back to the Super Bowl. So, that's where the heartbreak comes in, because you start realizing, like, yeah, we do have a young, talented squad. You do have all these weapons. Then you go and think, well, Patrick Mahomes has weapons.
He does.
Josh Allen has weapons.
Yeah.
Justin Herbert has weapons. And these guys are only a few key pieces away from making the same jump that anybody can make. Now, did I think the Bengals were ahead of their time getting there? For sure. I didn't expect that at all.
I don't think anybody did.
No, I for sure. I mean, if you look at the chances of us getting there and the odds, it was like plus 200, which is like the second highest going into the season. I think the Lions were last. But it's crazy. Like, and that's why, like, the heartbreak was so bad, because it's like, sometimes it is a once in a lifetime thing to see your team do this.
And you're a bigger man than me, and I know I told you this after
physically,
the game.
guys. He's like 6'3".
Yeah, so. I'm way bigger than you. But for years I had been telling Paul that he doesn't know what it feels like to lose big, because the Bengals were stuck in this terrible drought of not making it past the first round of the playoffs. 4 years straight. And the Packers, meanwhile, were making it to the NFC Championship game constantly. We're always in the playoffs. And, I had to constantly endure this heartbreak of losing in the big NFC game. And when the Packers lose the NFC Championship, the NFL app is deleted off my phone. Like, I stopped following the Packers in the NFL Instagram account. I block ESPN. I don't want anything to remind me of that heartbreak. Meanwhile, you're sitting here wearing like a Snuggie, watching the game, crying and eating popcorn again. I can't do that.
I was, after the game, naked in the corner of my dining room, like covered in Bengals cupcakes, crying and sobbing like a child.
And I knew that because you weren't alone. You did that when we were all still at your house.
Yeah, my wife was so embarrassed. It was like, yeah, well, you know what?
I even told her, I'm like, it's nothing I haven't seen before,
He's peed himself, Jake. He's in the corner.
What was really exciting though, that cake that my mom bought you, that was a good cake, man.
Yeah, that
was delicious.
Was delicious. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mom, for getting Paul that cake. It was delicious.
Mom. We appreciate it.
But yeah, I mean, we really got off a topic on Aaron Rodgers.
Well, I mean, we're just talking about sports.
Yeah, so. Two bros chilling in a hot tub, 6 feet apart because not gay, or however that. But I hope he comes back. I hope he comes back. I think he will come back. We're supposed to have an answer, if I recall correctly, this week or next week.
Well, I know he said that he wasn't going to let this decision weigh long on either side, and that he would let the Packer organization know as soon as possible.
And I hope he does, because I'm getting more gray hairs in my beard. My beard is starting to look like yours.
Look, man, if I know anything about Aaron Rodgers, he's seen what's going on over in Ukraine and Russia right now, and he's thinking, "Damn, the spotlight's not on me right now. All right, time to make the decision."
Yeah. I mean, if they would just talk to Joe Rogan about vaccination alternatives and anyway. So Aaron Rodgers is going to be back in Green Bay. We are going to have our Packers versus Bengals Super Bowl next year, and that will officially be the end of the MGS podcast, depending on the winner of that Super Bowl. If the Bengals win, it'll definitely be the end of the podcast.
I'll be branching off of my own.
I'm a sore loser. If the Packers win, Paul's a better loser than I am because he's more used to it.
Video games,
sports,
just life.
But I think that's kind of a good point to close our first ever podcast.
Rolling out episode number 1. We look forward to many more of these, and anybody that's listening, we appreciate it and look forward to seeing you guys again.
Yeah, and please subscribe and share this video to your friends. Tell them to subscribe.
All social media platforms.
Because if you don't do it, I probably won't like you as a person.
Yeah.
But that'll wrap things up for the MGS podcast. Great talking with you, Paul.
Thanks for tuning in.
Look forward to next week. Have a good night, everybody.